Hello and welcome back to the Second Chance to Live channel here on YouTube. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to visit and listen to this video presentation. In today's article, or in today's presentation, I'm going to read an article that I wrote several days ago. I'm doing so because I have people in my audience, amongst my readership, that enjoy listening to my articles instead of reading them. So I'm going to read this article. I hope you enjoy it, and if you have questions, please let me know. Thank you. Living with a Disability and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Hello and welcome back to Second Chance to Live. Last year around this time, I wrote the below article under a different title, Living with a Disability and Feeling Different. Last year I presented the article in 3 parts. This year I have decided to combine each of the 3 parts into one article. Although the article is longer than I normally publish on Second Chance to Live, I believe that by having the 3 parts of this article combined together, the context of the article will be easier to follow as you read the article. Now for the article. Hello and welcome back to Second Chance to Live. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to visit with me. You're always welcome around my table. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to both you and your family. During this time of the year, we may hear and may be singing various Christmas carols. These Christmas carols songs have become synonymous with this time of the year. One of the carol songs is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. As a youth, I heard this carol song sung with the thought that this is a happy song. As I have grown older, the words of the song have taken on a different meaning. As the song begins, we are drawn to the names of Santa's reindeer: Dasher, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and Rudolph. As the song continues, special attention is drawn to Rudolph. So the song tells us that Rudolph has a bright, red, shiny nose that some say even glowed. We are then given the impression that Rudolph's nose distinguished Rudolph from the other reindeer: Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, and Donner, and Blitzen. With the next several lines of the carol song, we hear that Rudolph is laughed at, called names, and not allowed to join in any reindeer games. Although the reasons why Rudolph is shunned, laughed at, and called names is not made clear, what is made clear is that Rudolph's bright red shiny nose made him different from the other reindeer. Although Rudolph is merely a fictional character in the Christmas song, his plight can easily be identified with individuals who have experienced similar rejection and ridicule because they are different from the other members of the herd. As I listened to the song with my new understanding, I found that I could identify with Rudolph's experience with the herd. Although I attempted to go alone to get along for many years to find my place and position in the herd, I continued to experience feelings of alienation and isolation for being different. As we continue to listen to the lyrics of the song, we hear, "Then one foggy night, Santa came to say." In this part of the song, we hear that Santa recognized the value of what made Rudolph different and uniquely qualified to fulfill its unique need to empower the herd and his mission. Upon reflection, I can only imagine that Rudolph and the other reindeer thought when Santa said, "Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" What the herd had laughed at and ridiculed and scorned, Santa saw as essential to accomplishing the mission before him, to guide his sleigh. Rudolph's gift, what made him different, empowered him to fulfill what none of the other reindeer could hope to do. What made Rudolph different equipped him to be of maximum service to Santa, to his fellow reindeer, and as the song infers, to many boys and girls. In my experience, because I bought into the notion that I deserved to be ostracized, ridiculed, and rejected because of what made me different. I criticized and berated myself for being different. Consequently, I had a difficult time celebrating the possibilities surrounding what made me different. Subsequently, instead of feeling connected with a sense of belonging and inclusion, I experienced feelings of alienation and isolation. Instead of using my time and energy to explore how I could use what made me different, I sought to gain the approval and validation of the herd. I continued to feel alienated and isolated from the herd and from myself until I experienced a spiritual awakening. The spiritual awakening revealed to me that I could no longer afford to be distracted by what the herd could not understand or accept. My spiritual awakening revealed that to me that I no longer had to wait for the herd to recognize, accept, or approve of the value of what made me different. My spiritual awakening revealed to me that I needed to begin to use what made me different despite the herd's continued ridicule and exclusion. My spiritual awakening revealed to me that a loving God wanted to use what made me different to be a blessing to the herd, as well as the individuals ostracized by the herd. Just as Santa used what made Rudolph different to bless the herd, the mission, and many other individuals outside of the herd. In your experience, you may have also found that as Rudolph and I have discovered, that there is something that makes you different. You may be a traumatic brain injury survivor, an individual living with a disability or an invisible disability, or you may have experienced some other kind of trauma, abuse, or adversity that makes you feel different. Consequently, you may find yourself feeling ridiculed, ostracized, and excluded by the herd. In the process, you may have a difficult time accepting yourself for being who you are as an individual. As I shared in this article, I can identify with you, but that is not the end of the story. The end of the story is that a loving God is going to use what makes us different, as Santa used Rudolph. What makes you and I different is essential. What makes you and I different is essential to God fulfilling a unique mission through us. What makes you and I different will be used to draw the herd to fulfill its purpose. What makes you and I different will be used as beacons of hope to draw our brothers and sisters from the shadows of isolation and feelings of alienation. What makes you and I different will make us leaders. What makes you and I different will help dreams live in people. What makes you and I different will empower people to move beyond the shores of their fears and apprehension. What makes you and I different will give people courage. What makes you and I different will bring about change. Will bring about the change we want to see in the world. And there are several quotes that I like to read to you that speak a lot to me, and I believe that they'll speak to you too. This first one is by Mahatma Gandhi. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. The second one is also by Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. The next one is by Mother Teresa. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. The next one is by Scott Adams, an American cartoonist. You don't have to be a person of influence to be influential. In fact, the most influential people in my life are probably not even aware of the things they've taught me. The next one is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Insist on yourself. Never imitate your own gift. You can present every moment with the cumulative force of a whole life's cultivation, but of the adopted talent of another, you have only an extemporaneous half possession. Do that which is assigned to you, and you cannot hope too much or dare too much. And the last quote is by Henry David Thoreau. If you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and endeavor to live the life that you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected and common hours. Thank you for listening to this particular video presentation. As I read my articles again, I'd encourage you not to give up on yourself, a loving God, or your process, because more is going to be revealed to you. I'll say so long for now. Thank you again for your time. Merry Christmas to both you and your family. God bless.